Hey guys, it's BrowncoatNerd. I've got another video for you. Today, this one is on the Sig Sauer P226 with DAK trigger. This one is chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. I wanted to kind of hurry up and get this video out there. I purchased this from AIM Surplus for $340. I also paid an extra $10 for the hand select, so $350. They did have some in what looked like an unissued condition for $400. I checked their website today and they're sold out of the pristine condition ones, or however they categorized it. But they still have these issued ones. Like I said, you can grab one for $340. And this video is going to be kind of for first-time SIG owners, which I think this is a great little gun for, as I am a first-time SIG owner, and it's nice and cheap. Now, if you're like me and you've been eyeballing a SIG, a buddy of mine rented one at the gun range and I shot it, and I kind of hated him for that because then I saw the price tag on the gun and I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting one of these. Zatisva Arms makes, I don't know if it's an exact clone or it's just a copy of the SIG or how close of a copy it is, but it's called the CZ99, I believe. Not to be confused with the Czech Republic gun maker CZ. That was the CZ99 is just the model of gun made by Zatisva Arms. Out of Yugoslavia, which is now Serbia, so I guess you could call that a Yugo. But I was kind of settling on buying one of those. Those have kind of started to dry up, and they're going for the same price that I got this little guy here for, and this is a true legitimate SIG, so I could not be happier. Like I said, AIM still does have these in stock. I have no clue how many, but it's one hell of a deal, and I highly recommend you jumping on it. When I first came across this, I kind of shrugged it off. Because I noticed the hammer, and actually the hammer was all the way down. This gun has been safety checked, so I thought it was some kind of like weird striker fire Sig 226, and I'm not big on striker fire. But then I was just kind of like, oh, that price is killer, so I went back, did a little more research on what the DAK trigger was, and that's really why the price is so low in my opinion. One, it's in 40 Smith & Wesson. I feel like that round's just kind of not nearly as popular as it once was. People prefer the 9, especially with the Sig 226. And, of course, that DAK trigger, which is just kind of oddball and I think kind of scares people away. Now, one thing you might notice if you're familiar with the 226, you normally have a decocking lever right here. And that is missing because this is a double action only, as well as the hammer's kind of bobbed, and I'm a surplus guy, so whenever I see that, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, it's a tanker model. Which this is not, but if you want to look cool and tell people that at the range, sure, go right ahead. But this is a double action only, but the really oddball unique thing about it is it has 2 trigger resets. So on your first initial pull, you're letting out the trigger, you feel it click and reset. If you were to pull the trigger back, you're going to have a hefty, I believe they say it's an 8 or 8.5 pound trigger. This one kind of felt a little heavier than that. Or you can let the trigger go out even further and it will reset again further out, and that will have a much lighter, I believe they say it's around a 6 pound trigger pull. You're going to have a longer actual pull on the trigger, but it's much lighter and smoother. And despite all that, I found that I was pretty darn accurate with this. I'm not that great of a shot, but this gun really made me feel like it. So do not let that trigger scare you away. I also kind of like the oddball stuff, so after I kind of read up on the DAK trigger, I was just kind of like, okay, well now I really have to have it, especially for that price. And I do believe you can switch this out to a double action, single action trigger, like on your normal Sig 226. I've come across at least one video of a gentleman switching it from double action, single action actually to a DAK trigger. So I would imagine you could do it vice versa. I have no clue how expensive that is to get that whole little trigger group there. But if you're wanting a SIG, $340, I really do not feel like you can beat that price. I can live with the DAK trigger, and like I said, for myself, I kind of like the oddball stuff. Now, I did shoot 150 rounds through this last weekend. I had absolutely 0 issues. I had full metal jackets and 2 different kinds of hollow points. It ate up everything just fine. The slide locked back after every, with an empty mag. No hiccups with extracting or feeding or anything in any way, shape, or form. So very happy with that, and like I said, this guy is very accurate. Now I did pay the extra $10 for the hand select, and I'm pretty happy with the overall condition. These are police trade-in guns. Now, I'm going to go ahead and point out real quick, the most wear is on this front strap here and on the front of the trigger guard. And then a little bit down here on the accessory rail. But other than that, I really feel like the gun looks great. We've got a little nick just to the left of the front sight. But this is all stuff I can live with. And I kind of like the guns that look like they've been used, look like they have history. I don't want a gun that's all shiny and looks like a Safe Queen. Plus, if you have a gun that's in pristine condition, as soon as you put that first nick on it, you're hating yourself. So just buy a gun that's got a couple of nicks. You'll put a nick in it. You'll never notice. So obviously, like I said, the hammer is different. It's got that bobbed look. You still have a nice beaver tail. You have these are I believe the standard grips that come on any of the Sig P226s, which is a really nice grip. I really like the way these feel. So you have a little bit of texture on the back strap from that. Even looks like it might have a little spot for a lanyard, because those are super popular nowadays. You got some texturing on the front strap here, nothing real aggressive. The mags do drop free, so that makes me happy. You have a texturing on the front of the trigger guard there. You have an accessory rail. The slide does say stainless. I don't know if that means anything. Some of the early SIGs, you'll see they say made in W Germany for West Germany. This one's kind of a transitional one, because Germany was all united when this was made. But if you see here, I don't know if that's going to come up, it says frame made in Germany. And then on the other side here, exterior New Hampshire, USA. So my understanding is the frames were made in Germany, and the slide, and I believe everything else was assembled and made in the US. And I believe with some of the newer SIGs you buy now, they're all US made. So just so you know on that little detail. Nothing really crazy special. I am very happy with these night sights here. They have plenty of life in them. Let me turn the lights off. Got a little bit of daylight outside. But as you can see, these guys are very, very bright. Now, of course, I've got them under a lamp, so they're kind of supercharged. But they stay lit up for a big chunk of time. I think pretty much through the night. So having those, and I've always wanted a Sig 226, but I actually plan on swapping out this for my new nightstand gun. So I will be replacing the old faithful CZ P07 and 9mm with the Sig here. So for that, I really enjoy the night sights for that. Happy to have the accessory rail for my light, and having that double action only trigger in a nightstand gun, I guess I'm okay with it. I'm not big on striker fires. I like the nice double action and single action setup. But with this, you're not fumbling, trying to think in your head, I guess, if the hammer's pulled back or if the hammer's not. There's no safety on these guns to worry about. So I feel like in the role that I'll be putting this gun in, it fits it really well. Plus, it was just, like I said again, I feel like this was a steal at the price. And I'm always a sucker for police trade-in guns. The magazine on this looks in very good shape. This is made by Metgar in Italy, which, they make really good mags. This will work for the 357 Sig or the 40. A lot of these 226 mags I've seen have kind of a blued finish. This one has a parkerized finish, so I'm not sure if this was specifically for like the police issue guns. As you can see, it holds 12 rounds and 40, as well as 357 Sig. These replacement mags for the Sig 226 are not the cheapest things in the world. AIM also has these for additional used mags for 15 bucks. So I highly recommend grabbing those. This is the one that came in the gun, and it's got what looks like a brand new rubber base pad there, so that's nice. Of course, I did buy an extra mag. This one's got some more wear on it. You can see some more wear marks there. The pad's a little bit more worn. And we used both these mags when we took the gun out shooting. And like I said, I had 0 issues of any kind. So the magazine's going to have plenty of life left in it. AIM is also selling some of the used Blackhawk holsters for the Sig, and I figured, well, 20 bucks, might as well have the matching holster, right? I never open carry, I always conceal and carry, but it's nice to have a holster that matches the gun, especially when you put it in your safe, just kind of save it from getting nicked up or anything. And then, it's a used police gun, might as well get the used police holster that goes with it. AIM is selling these for 20 bucks, and they do have right hand and left hand models as well, in case any of you all are interested in that. Let's see, I don't think I've missed anything. Like I said, if you're looking for an entry-level SIG, this is, for the price, you just cannot beat it. If you're just kind of looking for a good nightstand gun, once again, I feel like this is a great option for you. You should not overlook it. A lot of people just kind of stay away from them because that DAK trigger, but it's really not that big of a deal. One thing I will say real quick, though, is this trigger has a pretty wicked curve on it. I normally like that, especially when I'm using a gun in single action. But I did discover the other day when we went shooting, towards the end of the day, I'm kind of getting tired because that trigger will start to wear away at you a little bit. And I found myself just getting like a really weird, like I said, this gun has been safety checked. I know I'm putting my finger on the trigger. But I started to get just kind of a really weird, like, almost purchase. Because at this point I realized, okay, this gun's stinking accurate, and I was trying to push out of it as much as I possibly could. So I'm trying to be as smooth as possible on that trigger. And it was just kind of, it was feeling weird. I don't know a better way to say it, but I was still hitting the target. So that's something I might change out. They do have some straighter trigger options out there. There's a ton of different upgrades you can get for these SIGs because they're very popular. And another thing real quick, grease the rails. That's one thing that these metal frame SIGs, they're big on, that everyone keeps saying. Some people say they just put oil on them, and you'd probably be fine, but grease is cheap. Just grease the rails. That's what they recommend. So just play it safe on that. But yeah, it's a great gun if you're wanting to get a SIG. If you're just looking for a good deal on a gun, this is a killer deal. Like I said, I got this from AIM Surplus. They're selling these for $340. I did pay an extra $10 for the hand select, and I am not disappointed. I highly recommend looking into one of these and just grabbing one. Alright guys, this has been BrowncoatNerd. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.